Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. Co-creation at its best. Yeah. You are knowing what you are wanting. That's a good thing. Because once that desire becomes clear to you, it's a sure thing that it can become fully manifested. Do you realize that? Do you realize that once your desire is formulated in your own mind, once you know that you desire something, it's underway. So much has come before that point that you often do not even realize, because you got into the receptive mode. You usually don't know how, and you received the impulse or the inclination for that desire. But so much happened before that happened. And once that happened, since so much has already happened, once that's happened, once you know that you desire something, it's underway. Can you grasp that? Does that make some sort of sense to you? We want it to, because if you can get that, if that we just said to you makes sense to you, if you really believe it, if you really understand that once this experience has caused a formulated desire to be in your conscious mind, so much momentum has already taken place that it is a sure thing that it must come to full fruition, to the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, where you can see it and recognize it and experience it, and others who are looking on in your direction can witness it too. But sometimes, even though the desire has formulated within you, even though it's vivid and it's real, you have other thoughts that surround it. That thought came in a sort of a flash, but then other thoughts that you've been practicing sort of bury it deep in the resistance. Thoughts like, oh, I can't do that, or I don't know anybody that's done that, or hardly anybody ever gets to do that, or this isn't something that my family has ever experienced, or this is so new to me, or I'm not qualified, or I'm not ready, or I'm not worthy, in other words, there are thoughts that you sometimes, you don't mean to, pile in on top of that. And it turns out, it's always been this way, but it's just sort of occurring to more and more of you, that your thoughts matter a lot. Your thoughts matter a lot, because what you think is a vibration that law of attraction is responding to. So what you think, and even more important, how you feel about what you think, equals your point of attraction, and everything that comes to you is controlled by that. Sometimes you don't realize that you have control of what comes to you, but it's always because you haven't practiced yet control of your own thought. If you're like most people, you let what's going on in your environment control your thought. We love you so much. You know what's coming next. But you are reactionary beings. You are reactors to conditions. And we understand why you would be, because things that are manifested, that's what your life is. In other words, your life is all that is surrounding you, and you've come as this fully manifested being capable of seeing and hearing and so forth, because you want to experience life in this way. You want to experience this leading edge version of life, this leading edge physically manifested version of life. You know, there's a whole lot of life that isn't fully manifested, but everything that is non-physical is experiencing with you this fully manifested life. We're all out here on this leading edge together. So we understand, in fact, we recommend that you embrace fully the physicality of your experience. We want you to devour it with all of your ability to translate vibration through your eyes and ears and nose and fingertips and so on. We want you to feel and see and hear and taste this life experience. It's what you were born to do. It's why you were born. It's what you wanted when you came. But in order to do that purposefully, in order to do that deliberately, it is so beneficial to have a basis of understanding of how it all works. And so that's what we've been about for a long time, explaining to you that you are vibrational beings. Even though you do see, the reason you see is because you translate vibration, but you don't know you're translating vibration. You're just seeing, you're just experiencing the end results of being able to translate that vibration. And because there are so many things that you are experiencing just automatically, your physical mechanism was born doing those things, you don't realize that you have an emotional system within you that is the guidance about the most important vibration, which is the vibration of the relationship between you and who you really are. You're lovely in your bodies, but that's only a tiny little bit of who you are. The larger part of you is source, non-physically focused energy. You've been calling that your soul. We call that your inner being, but it's the larger part of you, and it is focused with you, to you, and through you all day, every day. And that part of you is a high frequency with no resistance. You might translate it in words to be the vibration of love, or the vibration of clarity, the vibration of well-being, the vibration of worthiness, the vibration of absolute knowing. It's the vibration of infinite intelligence. That's who you really are. And as you are here in this physical body, whether you know it or not, you are for sure having a relationship, a primary, important, dominant relationship with that non-physical energy part of you, that inner being you. And that relationship between the non-physical you and the physical you can most easily be recognized by you by your emotions. For example, when you feel rapturous love about something or someone, or you are feeling appreciation that just makes you feel as if you are turning inside out, what that means is your thought that you are thinking with your thinking mechanism right here in this body, in this personality, this thought that you are having right now matches perfectly with the thought that your inner being is having right here, right now about the same thing. There's a perfect blend, and that's why there is no resistance. There's just pure flow. It's you and you. It's you and you. That's why it feels so good. That's what passion is. That's what that feeling of powerful, good feeling, that's what love is. That's what appreciation is. So as you are realizing that you are an extension of this non-physical energy, and that you are a team with this non-physical energy, in other words, we are all in this together. But you came not only for the experience of sifting through the contrast in order to determine the new desires. Oh, you new creative genius creatures out here on the leading edge, having experiences and relationships and combinations with others that have never been before unto all of the universe. And through that synthesization, through that experience of interacting with one another, you keep giving birth to new ideas. And those ideas are important to all of us because they represent not just what's coming new to you, not just the new, fun, good feeling, expansive experience that you are about to have, but you represent the leading edge of the entire universe. You are out here in the new, having the new desire born within you. And that new desire born within you, and we're not only talking about your new houses or your better ways of living. We're not only talking about the things that will adorn your physical body or the things that will move you from place to place. We're not only talking about your physical contraptions that are in the making. We're talking about your new ways of recognizing the perfection of each other, and your new ways of understanding the balance of the whole, and your new ways of recognizing that you don't have to all be alike. In fact, you don't want to be alike. In fact, if you had wanted to be alike, you would have been born alike, but you were not born alike. You were born different. And the reason that you were born different is because the combination of all of your differences makes for new ideas. It makes for the next generation and the next and the next and the next. It completes the promise of the eternalness that we all know to be, because there is no ending to that which we are, but there is a constant being of that which we are. And so as you begin to embrace the continual being of that which we all are, then you get to, it's your plan, it's our desire for you You get to live happily ever after. And ever after not meaning later, meaning now and now and now and now and ever after, you see. All of the things that you've been asking for, a part of you stands as the culmination of already. Not too satisfying for you, however, because it's a vibrational reality that you have to tune into. Just like tuning your radio tuner to the frequency of what's being broadcast. You don't have your tuner set to the station that you want to hear, then you're not going to hear it. It is not different from that. In fact, it's exactly the same as that. It's vibrational. And so here's this broadcast of you. All of the abundance, all of the well-being, all of the clarity, all of the deliberateness being broadcast to you all day, every day. But you have to do step 3, which is adjust your tuner to that frequency. And over time, we've called that being in the state of allowing yourself to receive. We've called it being in the receiving mode, which means tuned to the frequency so that you can hear. And today what we're wanting to say to you is that step 3, what it really is being in a vibrational frequency where what your inner being knows, you know too. The state of allowing yourself to be. Jerry always wanted to put all of our books in the bookstores with a label that said self-help from your total self. So it's that total self that we want you to be aware of, that whole of you, that inner being you. But we don't want it to be the inner being only. We want it to be the inner being that you let out. The inner being that you let out into your world, the inner being that comes out of your mouth, the inner being that is your wisdom. In other words, it's a blending of who you really are. And we want to say to you, finally, and then we'll open it for whatever you want to talk about, that the only thing that ever causes you at any time to ever not feel good about anything, the only time that you ever feel fear or depression or anger or even frustration or disappointment, the only time that you ever feel that, the only reason that you ever feel that is because you are not in that receiving mode, and you are therefore not allowing yourself to receive the fullness of what you've asked for. And you know, if your life hadn't caused you to ask for it, then you're not letting yourself receive it, wouldn't bother you. But that's not the case. Your life did cause you to ask for it, and now you've got no choice if you want to feel good other than to let it in. It's time for you to get in the receiving mode. It's time for you to live the purpose of what you came to live. It's time for you to be who you really are. It's time for you to get tuned in, tapped in, turned on. It's time for you to begin receiving the flow, the stream of conscious awareness about you into your world. It's time for that. Don't you think it's time for that? Don't you think it's time for that? Don't you think it's time? Not only is it time, but it's time for it to be a consistent thing. Step 3 feels wonderful, but you know what step 4 is? Step 4 is mastering that. Step 4 is caring about how you feel. Step 4 is recognizing the importance of how you feel and knowing how you feel, what how you feel means. Knowing that when you feel elation, that you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And knowing that when you feel anger, that you're not. And the mastery of that includes understanding that the thing that you're looking at, the thing that you are having a knee-jerk response to, is not the problem. The problem is that you're looking at that thing that's making you feel like that. And you say, Abraham, it's my kid. Do you really want me to turn the other cheek? Yes. Not only does your kid want that, we want that for all of you. Why look at what makes you feel a way that your inner being does not feel? And you say, oh, Abraham, we have to face reality, and you should too. And we say, you are not a facer of reality. You are a creator of reality. But when you face reality, you create a reality just like the reality that you're facing. If you'd like the reality that you're facing to be different, then you've got to stop looking at the reality that you're looking at. Because when you look at the reality that you're looking at, you're offering a vibration, and law of attraction is responding to the vibration, and you're creating more of the reality that you don't like, that you don't want to create. So every time you feel negative emotion, that's what that means. You're looking at and therefore continue.